This is an extended tutorial about how to structure your architectural design, and it's a summary and the interplay of all the tools available in Blender. So let's start. So we first have to go for the versioning. So we have to distinguish precisely between prototypes, and you can have the prototypes in different files, but if you start here, you have the prototypes, and then you have the layout, so the instances, and we say layout 01. So second, what we want to have is, we go here for the visible layers. We want to create a building in our layout. So therefore we have to create a structure for that. So we have a plane axis, and we say this is building A. It's like a folder, and this has floor 1. And the floor 1 is part of the building here, so it's parenting. So if we go here, then we can say duplicate, and we want to have floor 2 as part of the building and with an offset in Z. So in this example, we don't want to go to a precise measurement, it's just about proportions. If you want to go there, you have to check the units, and you can go here with display, how the subdivision and so on. So you can go to scales and have a look here to be precise in how it works. So this is our organization here, the first structure of our thing. So we have the versions and the structure. So what we want to have as well is that our floor is on layer 2. Floor 2 should be on layer 2 so that we can switch on and off floors easily. Which means this selected, we can move that to layer 2. Which means selected object is here, visible layer, so we see now we have floor 2. And this is building with floor 1. Good. Next step is to get the first prototype. Now we are here in the prototypes, and we create a plane, and this is our module A, principal shape. So very rough shape, which means it's a module of construction, and we want to arrange them fast and have a schematic layout. So therefore we want to lower, our module should be 2 by 2 by 1 units, and this should just be in the middle. Therefore we keep our insertion point, that's very important, so we have to move it up in edit mode and say we want a GZ.5. So control that, check it here, and that's good. So to get nice gaps between these modules, we because it's a schematic graphics, we can scale it by scale it a little, shrink it a little, scale by 0.5. That's it. So that's our module R, a principal shape. Now we have to make it a prototype. So we go to the object parameters, we have the group here. We create a group, and we say this is module A. And the principal shape of module A is this. And the principal shape is on layer 1. And we want to see that, then we have to put all these here off. They are not with module 1. So this is the visibility of module 1, not of our visibility in the viewer. So This is our prototype. Now we go for our layout. We are in floor number 1. Look at this. Now we insert a module 1 at this point. So this module 1 will be part of floor 1, and now it's here. And now we can duplicate that, repeat, duplicate that. So now we can have see all this is proper. So we have a proper layout of our first floor. If we want to go to the second floor, then we have to go cursor to the selected. Now we have to select floor, then cursor to selected. This is our insertion point now. In that module, a construction element, if we want to see the other floor as well, here we are. Now duplicate in X and do the same, duplicate in Y. Here we are. So if we look from above, then we see layer 1, layer 2, and we have the prototype module A here. Okay, go to layout. Here we are. And see both layers. Good, now go for rendering. This is our building here. The modules here, they should be in floor 2. Okay. Now this is proper. And have the insertion point there at 0. Now go for a ground plane. And scale it by 6. Go for top view, wireframe, and adjust it properly. Something like that. Good. Now the ground should be a different color than our planes. The ground needs what we have. Nope. So we need principled. So this is white. This is the ground. This is default white. A little specular. No, and white. So our prototype here, it's a new color, principled BSDF, and we give him a little gray, and we want to have it more rough, 1/3. So this is white plaster. Give it 1/5. Okay, so if we now go for the layout and look at it with material, we have different. We have it here. Okay. Add the sun. Add the sun. Good. Sun is always 0.5 as diffuse, strength of 3. And we start with rotation 80. So these are my default values, working properly. So we have that. The same with the background. So take the world and look for the surface, make that, for example, white, very few. So if we now go for, and then we have a proper rendering of our design. And it's working here. it's good, and it's working with the floor plan. It doesn't work because that's the next story, because the ground and the sun are orthogonal to our spatial layers, aspects, and therefore they need to be in a separate layer because they are orthogonal, which means we go here, we have sun, and we select the ground, and we move that to another layer. I would say that take the first 10 layers here for the spatial organization and do that here for infrastructure. So then take, for example, the last one here and put ground and sun to the last one. So which means if we are rendering, we have nothing but the world, and the same with this and this. But if we include the last layer, then it's fine, it's with both fine, and it's with the second fine as well. So here we are. Maybe we should rotate the sun to put it like this. So that's our next step. Okay, this is a level of detail 1 of our object, module A. And now we duplicate that and confirm that at the same insertion point and move that to the level of detail 2. So now we go here for level of detail 2, and we say this should be module A, ceiling. So it's part of module A, but on level of detail 2. So what do we want to do with that? Okay, you never should touch this as an object, because then the geometrical framework gets in disorder. You can go in, because its level of detail is detailing the design of the object itself. Therefore, you have to go into edit mode. So, and we want to move it up to get it a ceiling to the top of our module. The module is 2 by 2 by 1. This is on half, so we can move it from half to 1 meter to get it to the ceiling. The next is we want to extrude it. So extrude and by 5 centimeters, for example. So it's point over and minus. So that's our ceiling. What is with the material? So that's white plaster, so that's still okay. That's our ceiling. Now we want to have a column. Go to top. Now we make a system of prototypes. So go here and go for a circle. A circle needs 16 units, a radius of 1, and location should be 0. I didn't. Rotation is fine. Good. So it's double size of that, radius 5, and now we have to go into it and extrude it by Z to 1. So that's fine in that direction, and not to get in conflict at the top with the faces, simply say this is 0.99. So that should be fine. Good. This is our module A column. Good. And this should be part of our module 1. So module is system of designed objects with this same name and a certain visibility. So here we are in visibility 1 of module R. These are objects of, and this is of level 2. So these are objects of module A on different levels. So go here and now look for the layout. Layout didn't change, that's fine. If we go now for a prototype and say we want to see our module A, we want to have the visibility just on level of detail 2 and go to our layout, then we have this, which is fine. Okay, next chapter is cameras. So we want to have multiple cameras and they need to be on our environmental frame. So go here and say we want to have a camera. Camera is here. And we look, for example, this is our view. Go for the camera. Now fine-tuning with view, we have it here. Fine-tuning. So this is from the back. Okay. So 0. Now we are with our view. This is our camera. This is camera from back. So let's introduce another camera. It's here. So this camera should be camera from front. So here you see this is the active camera. So if I go with 0, I go with the active camera and then I go to the view. And if I want to make that the primary camera, go for view, say camera and say active object as camera. So there it's an off, go to the view again, but we have a camera from front, it's here, and the other is deactivated. So this is the running camera. Now we go to front, go to this kind of perspective, and take this camera and have that. Okay, and now we have the view, go to this camera, and now we can select this camera and take this camera as active. This is not proper. Good. Or we can select this camera and say this. Select this camera and say this. And this is working with our rendering. We have that. It's a little odd with the sun. Okay. get this camera change it, save it, get this camera, here we are. Now we have to check things. The cameras are on this layer here, and they should be on this layer, so these cameras selected. I move them to the layer here, which means here and here we don't have it, and this is our environment, and this is our kind of studio for the model. If we want to have the second floor with this camera, it's fine. If we want to have the first floor with this camera, it's fine as well. Okay. Okay, just for experimenting around, let's go for another version of this setup. So, okay, so what we want to do is a new version. Therefore we say we take all these elements, take our scenario and environment, the cameras and so on, take all the prototypes, but we want to build up another layout. So therefore we can have a full copy and then delete stuff, but that's not funny. So simply make copy settings, and then everything is empty again. But we want to, so first say this is layout 02. We want to copy, for example, now all the cameras. So the cameras had been on this layer, all this setup, sun, cameras. So put the, where's the sun, put it a little up so that it looks better. So something like that. So take all these elements, and now with Control L we can make links. And we say these objects should be linked to layout 2. So now we have an identity of these objects, and we have them in layout 1 and in layout 2 rendered. So if I change them in layout 1, there will be effects in layout 2 and vice versa. So we can check it. Now we are with layout 2. Go here and we have the same thing. If I move this if I move the sun in layout 1, it's the same. So now let's go for layout 1, and we had this building, and we had this kind of organization of the structure of our buildings. And if we change the building, whatever is in, then we want to have it in both layers. So we check that, whether this is working. So take them, and again, Control N, copy them here, which means on this layer there should be these objects. That's nice. So now invert prototype. That's odd, didn't take care. Should be at 0, 0. So this module should be on floor 1. Good. Duplicate that in X. And yeah, for example, duplicate that and Y. So take that, and we say this should be a prototype again, but within our layout. So we can create a prototype layer in our prototypes, or we can leave it in our layout too and take a certain layer for it. So therefore we put these things here and move them, for example, to this layer. So now they are here. And we add them to a group. So we create a new group. This is our floor plan scheme 01. It should be visible only in, yeah, no, it's fine. So we want to have that visible in 2, but leave it, it's inheriting. So that's floor plan scheme. So this is add to group scheme 1, the same with this, scheme with this, and this. So now they are floor plan scheme 1. Go here, cursor to select, so the selection is here, that's our building, cursor to selection, here, insert floor plan scheme 1, and here we have it. So that's floor plan scheme 1, building A. Duplicate, replicate, just don't make a skyscraper. So you see, this is how it's working. So if we now go for and duplicate one and Y, then our block is as well, because there's only 3 instances of that. So this is proper. We can check it with our cameras. Good, go for the active camera, that's fine. Take this camera, go for that, that's fine as well. So if we now go for layout 1, layout 2, same perspective, layout 1, we need to select these things, layout 1, layout 2. Now we go for the other camera and shift that, go for layout 2, go for the other camera, we have that. So now, because the cameras are connected, linked, so if we, for example, say we want to have another view to that, make it like this. If we go to layout 1, it's the same, because the camera is connected. Floor is connected, sun is connected. Now we can go for rendering, and all these things work pretty well. So what we don't have here is our world somehow. So if we go for layer 1, layout 1, we have the same setup but another layout, and we have the same prototypes but in another configuration. So now let's go, for example, and make better contrast on that. For example, have dark columns. We can do it like this. Now we have changed only one place, and the whole scenarios in alternatives, versions and so on change. So we go to the prototype. Here we are. This is our column, module, visible layer. This is the data. This is the associated material. We have ground and white plaster. Now we say, okay, it should be white plaster, but we want to have a version of that. So we inherit everything, but in a copy now. There we say dark gray plaster. And then we go here, oops, and make it dark. Okay, specular, roughness, that's fine. So, and just this one point in a proper organized building makes you have the look like this. And you see, here it's working. And the layout here, it's working as well. And we can, for example, get that off, on, off. Everything is working properly. That's this chapter. Now let's go for a facade. So the facade, different from the columns and the ceiling, they have another topological relation, because here you need one or two facade elements, and here you need four around the corner, and then you keep it open and so on. So it's another layer in in construction. By that we need another group, a prototypical group. So we can't group it to this element. So we need another group. Therefore, but we need to synchronize that. So it's good to have the same point of reference, but now let's start with the level of detail 1. So we have visible layers here, the principal shape of module 1. So now go for the entrance point, the reference point, and give them a plane. And this should be module facade mod. Yeah, whatever. What else? Yeah, whatever. So the facade should be upright. Rotate X 90. No, we never should do that. With the objects, we always have to go to the edit mode, rotate Z X 90, so that's good. Now we have to move it G, Y here, so, and the vertices B here. So this is our facade. Yes. And again we should take go here G Z 5 centimeters. G Z minus 5 centimeters, and G X minus 5 plus and the same here on this edge. Gx minus. Now we need these nice gaps, which correlates to the gaps of the principal ceiling module. So go out, that's our name. The material, we need this diffuse, but this needs to be transparent. Principal DSB, material, princip glass, and we don't want to have refraction. Okay. So that's it. And we need another group. So this is module A facade. We want to see this group on level of detail 1. Good. Now go to layout 1. You want to see it in level of detail 1. Okay. Now we are here. Again, go here for building A or go for floor A. Select cursor to selection and insert module A facade. That's here. So therefore we have to rotate, in this case we have to rotate it, rotate Z 90. Okay, that's good. Duplicate it, replicate. So this guy here, duplicate, rotate, Z minus 90. Oops. We need here. This is the floor. 1. So these are, this is a construction. So we need empty object, we need a new folder. Construction of floor 1. So, and when we need the modules here of construction of, so construction, now these are selected, this is active, and then we can say group. No, we should shift control P, set parent to object, and then they are with the construction. And now we just duplicate the construction here, and this is the facade. Okay, in floor 1, and now we need the same story here. This is our facade. Now active is a facade, and then control P object, now they are with the facade. Now we have a proper organization, and we can duplicate this guy and rotate it Z minus 90. No, it's 90. Okay, and duplicate this. That's our facade here. Do the same thing with the second floor. So go here, second floor, look at this. Now take this one here without the modules, duplicate it. Now get this, duplicate it. Then we have construction 01, put it to floor 2, put it one up. And then these guys here, construction 1 active, and control P here. So this is construction 1, and then duplicate that, facade, O1. So, and then we can, for example, take these here, just 3, duplicate them, have them here. Where are they? Now they are here, but we want to have them here. So they are now selected, this is active, now parenting objects, and now they are moved to this directory. Okay, get this guy, now we are in proper hierarchies, but we can have X to get the things rendered. Have a proper rendering. This looks good. Maybe the glass should be a little greenish. Material of the glass. This is the principal glass. Give that a little green. Okay, go back to the layout, and here we are with our principal layout. If we select our sun, then we have this setup of our building. Good. Now go to layout 2. I have to do similar things, but it's structured, so we have a much simpler, easier game. So we have to put the facade here. So we go for floor, cursor to selection, insert module facade A. Go to that, that's good. Duplicate, rotate, Z, duplicate, rotate, Z, duplicate, X, duplicate, rotate, Z, Z, duplicate, rotate Z, 90, duplicate, duplicate. So this is the floor. Now gets our organization again. Plane axis, construction, get it here. Duplicate, duplicate, 0, Facade. Okay, that's a facade. Now the construction, and so this is with group floor scheme 01, construction, showed floor scheme 01, facade, floor scheme 01. So you can, there are some tools, but I always forget it. Normally you should not have these problems. Now we make this prototypical floor. Good. And now if we go here, we have it. And if we go now for our setup and go the camera and rendered, we are here and we have layout at 1 in sync. Good. Now camera front. Here layout 2. Okay. Okay. Now let's go for detailing the the facade. That's pretty simple now, because we only have to change the prototype, because the configuration of our two layouts are organizing and rearranging now then this new facade. So therefore we go for prototypes. We have these prototypes of level 1. So we have prototype level 2 for the construction element. Now we need the facade, so duplicate that, confirm, and move it to layer 2. Now we are here. Now what can we do with that? Okay, give it a little volume and give a certain subdivision to that to get structure. So so we have to go in, have all. So now we loop and cut this side and do it twice for, I think 2 is better. So we have that. Now have that. Yes. And extrude ny.05 minus plus. Okay, that's good. Yes. Now we have that. And now we select the faces. Oh, let's take the back faces and remove them. Now we got everything, but we somehow, some way, I don't know why, we lost these faces. F. Now we have the things. A. Good. Doubles. No one. But yeah. Okay. Now we are fine. That's it. Go for rendering. Yes, now we got structure in the glass. What we can do is we can, no, leave it like that for this abstraction. So this is principle. We can say this is simply the facade, and this organization of this level is proper here, and the facade keeps in this visibility. So if we now change that to this visibility and this element, this is module A to LOD2, then our layout should look like that. Okay, here we are. We have a nice facade and level of detail 2. The same, so go here for our camera, and the same with layout 2. It's working. Let's test to give the facade a little more structure. We can do two different things. So first is we can go for the friction. So if we go for the facade, that's material, we can put that onto 1.1. And then we have stronger effects. Yes. I think that's enough for this prototype. Okay, that's this chapter. Okay, now this is our layout 1 with a certain facade in level of detail 2. And now let's go for a version, another version of this facade. So, and we want to change that in the actual layouts. So therefore we have to go to prototypes. This is, these are our prototypes LOD2, LOD1. So we just do the same as we did before. So take this principle LOD1, then duplicate that, confirm, and put it to layer 2. So on layer 2 now we have another module, facade, and we say this is alternative B, and this was alternative A. So now create a folder. Be careful with the cursor, and now create a folder. This is the facade, and put these facades to these folders, and do the same with the construction. So A, ceiling and column in the construction. Now in the facade we have alternative A and alternative B. We switch A off, and we can go and switch construction off as well. So don't have that. So this is our facade. Go in for detailing. So we are here. Okay. Solid. So we split that in 3. So subdivide 3. Okay, there's the same order in vertical, and now we go for the lower ones. So we select these ones here and we split them again. Or just go for a loop here and say we want to have this kind of subdivision. So this is another order of the facade. Okay, and now go and extrude. Extrude y dot 0.5 centimeters. That's good. Now just have collapse these things here. Whether these are the windows, take that away as well, and then X and collapse, dissolve edges. Okay, this is proper, and now select this. It's B, 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 extrude Y .05. Good. And then extrude these guys, extrude Y dot 0.5 as well. So remove doubles. So these 8 points, they are now in sync, and this is another facade. We need two different materials. So we had inherited the principal glass. So make another one and give it the white, the dark gray cluster. So, and assign it to all the selection, and now go for the glass, say principal glass, and assign that. Now if we go for material, we see how it works. Good, we have that, exit, and this is our alternative B. So how to integrate that in, now go for A. In our layouts, it's pretty simple. So this was a layout with the facade. Go for, we have the modules here, layout with the facades. This was one. And now we can go, if we go for all scenes, then we have prototypes. And we can say facade alternative off and on. We can switch the facade, and it's working with rendering as well. And it's working with layout too as well. If we go to this, a little boring, go in here, that's a little more interesting. Make a little more construction site. And what is this? This is a floor plan. Ah, okay, it's a scheme here. Good, we have it here, but if we go here, you see we can switch the whole story. So this is another chapter. Now let's work and continue work on the facade and design the whole story a little. So we are not happy with the glass, with the ground. So let's go here. So we have to go for prototypes. This is our facade A, facade B. So this is the principal glass. We need the specularity, it's fine, but we need much more transmission. So by that we have it proper. Now we go for layout, and we are here, and our plane, which is inherited to layout 2, we want to have that, what is it here? The ground. We want to have that this kind of orange, which means in layout 2 it should be the same, yes. Then in our prototype we want to have that metallic cast iron. So now it's prototype. We have this thing. This is a dark gray plaster, and we need a copy of that, and we say this is Facade metal. So, and this should be much lighter and metallic. Roughness less. So there, this should work. So we can have a different version of that. So okay, just duplicate and keep it here and confirm. So this is a different version, simply with the old version. So that's the old version, and that's a new version. You see how simple it is. So now we have just these two colors, and we have our old version. Now let's have a look how this works in our layout with our camera. Well, that's boring design. Look for the other. So go a little more here. Layout 1 is better. So this is our layout. Go for this camera. That's a little better. Okay. So okay, here we are, and then rendering, it looks like this. Now it's getting interesting. This is Facade A. Good. Like it. Facade B is that. That's working as well. Facade B1 is just with another color. Good. That's proper. Now start with a radically different facade and do the same story again. So, and you see, if you are in these schemes, it's working pretty well. So again, now we can simply duplicate that and move it to LOD2. Go for LOD2. This is another facade. We switch down, so it's here. So this is alternative C. So switch off this guy and go into it. Switch off the construction. So hide these two, and now we are in with our facade. Okay, one, and go into it. Select it, go into it, edit mode, select all. So now split it, and we want to have round windows for that. So therefore, tool, well, no, subdivide is not good. Loop here. Okay, then vertex B X, delete faces. So we have this. Go to subdivide, multiple layers, subdivide again. So here we are. Now this is proper. And go from here, delete it, the vertices and the affected edges and faces. Select these here and then look for to sphere. And now we transform it to a sphere, that's fine. Scale it, it's okay. And now scale it to a proper proportion. We can go, so that's good. And now perspective, view to selected. Okay, now we want to extrude that in Y direction by 0.5. Good. Then we want to close that, extrude. Now the sphere 0. This is okay. Now we need subdivisions. Now we need loop and cuts. Escape. What is going on here? Okay, now why is this not working? Something's wrong. Okay, now again, now we extrude to the center by 0, and now we have loop cut sides here, and want to take some of them. Select to make it concave or convex, select it and move it G, and it's Y.5. So, and now we want to have proportional editing. It should be enabled. It should be inverse sphere. And now we control with shift, we can control it perfectly. Good. And it's a little too much. 3. Now we have that. The whole thing should be plus facade metal sheet, assign, and the opaque circle should be glass. So we take that and say this should be principal glass, assign that. Oops, we had, okay, all is facade, assign, and then we have to deactivate that. And then B, get just the center, and principal glass, assign, and look what we have with material here. So that's fine. And this is alternative C. Now put all this and duplicate it in X, and this should be the thing, our facade. This is, no, I think G, snip. Okay, test it with 1 meter. That should be fine. And I think we should close this. Here, F. Good. Object mode, this is our facade alternative C. If we go for layout 2, here we see we have it. But it's out of order. Prototypes. We made this mistake. Now we have this and just duplicate it, mirror it. X 1. Okay, this should be good. Now we duplicate, we have it, and we go back to object mode. This is our element for the facade. Go for the layout, and here we are with the other. Go for prototype. See all the elements. Make them off, and here we are with another facade. Proper. Okay, that's this chapter. Okay, now we want to change individual elements of facades towards different types. So by that we have to structure it more deeply, our system. So we have to go to prototype. And what do we have? In facade we do have these 4 different alternatives. Currently we switched on alternative A. All of them have module air facade 01. This is a reference of the instances of in our layout. So, and we want to have a second one, which is should be module A facade 02. So what we have to do is we have to decouple these guys here from that. So we have to decouple them, and we need a kind of router for that. So decouple them. So now we get the router facade. So okay, center, and we get an empty object. So and this is a facade. Let's say it router just to make something router 01. So and that's with the facade, and we need a router. So therefore we simply make a duplication of that. This is disturbing 0, and so and this is router number 2. So it's it's a switch. So this router should be with floor A facade 1 visible here. And this here needs another one. No, I forgot this. Copy. This guy here, the group here should be 02. So this is the alternative reference our instances can make into the prototypes. Now we have to get our routers to the actual modules. So this is module A, facade module A. So we have to create facade module A. It's visible here. This here, again, it's a new one. Facade module B, and it's visible as well. And this should be B as well, so we can go for B, and we can switch here between these 2 different versions as we did it before. And this guy here is a new group, and this is facade small c. So and again, okay. So therefore now this guy here should link to group, for example, facade module A. So, and we can switch him to facade. This is a pure glass, and we can link this here to the group C. So now if we go to our layout, okay, nothing's there. We have to go to prototype and we have to switch them on. No, this not. So there they are on. And now go to the layout, and here we are. This instance is with facade module A2, which is with this router module A. This is pure glass. So if we now go with this guy here to facade 2, then it's switching. Give them here, give him here a 2 as well. Oh, that's the wrong guy. So here. Two. Where? What are we? Okay, now this guy here to, and here we are. This guy to, and by that we can individually change these things. So go for, that's not too bad. So if we want to change now this group of things to, for example, this glass now to facade B, then we go, or we can do it online here. If we have all scenes, then we can say the router 2 is now with 4. We can check that. This is C, this is A and C. If we change that, we can go here and we change that to B, and we change that to C, and we have the visibility of B version 2. We can go to our layout and we have switched setup. That's another chapter. The next one will be on light, then when we are finished. Okay, one last step, just as an exercise, so it's a kind of repetition of all this stuff. Now let's put this whole thing into the night and introduce some lights on the construction level of detail number 3. So first let's have a look here at our environment. So we have that. We have this kind of rendering. The rendering has, now go for just the visible layers, from sun. So the sun has, where, here, these are the parameters, the strength of 3, and this 50 centimeters is important. So by that it's a kind of afternoon straightforward lighting. So let's do the night stuff. So therefore we have to switch down the sun, and we have this background. So say this is a world background for day. So this is day, and put that to night. So now we have a database with day and night. If we put it to night, the background should be dark. Something like this. So that's the night background, and we have still have a strong sun. So I suggest for the sun to go for an extra layer. The world is global, so we can't put the world to layers. So therefore, go to solid, select the sun and the ground, and no, just the sun. Cameras, you can set it up as you like, but the sun should be duplicated at the same place, and we want to move that to another layer. So now this is our okay, now the ground, just put the whole thing, duplicate, move to layer. So that's proper. Now we have a similar setup here, and now the sun should be, for example, 0.5. So we have very few sun, and if we Now go here and look for rendering. No, it's dark. So if we go switch this off, no, these two, and this here, then it's brighter, and we have to switch the world to day. Now we have day, and now this is night. Good. Now we want to introduce light. For that we go to prototypes, have the fast view, and we need the construction, so these two here, and want to get more details to that. So, which means we duplicate again, confirm, and move the duplication to the level of detail 3. Then go to detail 3 as we had it, and now add some details. So go for the column, go in, and for example, what can we do? Take this and scale it by 1.5. So I have a little conic setup here, leave it, so that's fine. We can have similar things with the ceiling. Okay, go for the ceiling, go in, hide this guy, go for the ceiling. Okay, now this is the downside, and what can we do? We are in, we selected the upper side, the lower side, fine. Now we can subdivide it, for example, and we can delete the faces, only the faces. So we have this point, delete these edges, just the edges, set X, only edges and face. No, we left, so we do it later. So we have, now we have this point, go with that, F, no, take this point, F, this point, F, this point, F. Now go for the vertices, delete these, X, just only the edges and faces. So now select these. This is wrong. So these are wrong. So this here, no. So this is, now go for this ceiling, hide this guy, go for him, edit, okay. Now subdivide it, That's fine. Now delete X, delete only the faces. Now select this, 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 and this face. So now delete and go for the faces. You need my screencast. So this can be deleted. Only faces and edges. Select all, delete the duplicate. Okay, that's fine. So this here is and needs faces, and now this point here needs a movement minus Z, so it's going down. Z minus minus 0.5. Okay, so this is our object. Leave it, show the others. That's the next detail. I think material and so on is inherited, that's fine. Now create a lamp, go on top. So add a curve, a third cylinder, go for 0 and go in and scale by 0.15. Look for it. All meshes. Okay, no, 7. Yeah, that's okay. So scale it 1.5. So this is okay. So that's our module, a light ring. So get another ring. Disturbing. 0 and 2 centimeters, very small. Okay, this is the module A light profile. We are here. Now go for the light ring and bevel object profile. This is a light ring. Now we go auto did and move that. No, we have to be in edit mode. Edit, edit, all, G, and move it up like this. Okay, or little like that. Here we are, the light ring. Now this light ring needs to be with this group. Our group here is module A. Now we have to be with module A, and we have visibility 3. Visibility 3, okay, these are all visibility 3. So And then we go for a material of the ring. We have a new one. We say we want to have an emission light. Give it a little yellowish. And we need very strong, so to have a 1000. So that's ring light on. So, and as we had it with the facade, module B, we simply can duplicate this, and this is off, and this is on. And then we say we want to see the on and don't see the off, with the rendering the same. So with off, we have another emission here. We copy that. This ring light, oops, this is ring light. So ring light off. So, and simply the emission should be 2. And this should be, so yeah, not very specific. So, but that's it. So if we switch it on and go for the rendering, we see this is our LOD3. That's pretty good. If we switch the light off, this is our LOD3, so put it here 2.5. Very few. And give it a little blue. Good. On. That's it. So now we are with object group, we are visibility 3, that's fine. So if we now go for layout, we are on. Look at here, look at this. Great. We are in night and the thing is on. So the ground needs more, there's too much reflection on that, roughness, that's fine. Let's have a look at layout 2. It's here, it's on, there's no night yet. So we have to copy the night, but we have to copy, so we put that to night. We are here. We always can improve that, we can leave it like that. So level 1 is this, works pretty well. So finally we can put the whole story into another environment, so into an, look, it's nice, I like it. Good. Now put the whole thing into another environment in an HDR picture. So give a new version. So and this is then the industrial hall. And for that we need the background. Background here as an image, so we need an environmental texture. Give that, open, skies. Look for the other tutorials, there are internet references where to get nice setups. For example, you can put it to the Tiergarten. So we have strength of 1, Tiergarten. I think we can leave this. Shit. Good. Okay. And now go for rendering, and here we are in the Tiergarten. So take the ground away, take it as a shadow catcher, get rid of all these shadows, diffuse, and here we are. Not too bad. Okay. LOD here. Now look for this guy here, put them both on A, so that we have a pure glass module as we did it before. This should look nice. Okay, and go for our render layout 1. Here we are. So I think you get the idea. This is what we principally try to establish in an architectural design. So you simply have to try to prevent redundancies. So you are good in structuring your design, that if you want to change something, you do it at one place, and then you do it systematically for your own. So this change then unfolds to the whole design, whatever you're doing. So if you start to have to manipulate multiple things the same way, you have a lack in structure. So by that, you keep your model compact and you keep your things running. So keep in mind that this was another tutorial, and it's not too complicated, that all these elements we developed here now on these different levels of design can be used as a library. So if you make a new design, you are able to simply refer and link all these elements we developed now to a new setup. So therefore the idea is that you do your, over time, you prepare your own way of organizing your buildings, and you prepare your own libraries. By that you get strong and fast in developing very sophisticated things over time. So that's this, and there's more on texturing and so on, but this will be a series of other tutorials, and I think this is enough for the beginning. Thanks for watching, and hope you enjoyed it, and hope you find interest in Blender and doing your architecture with this beautiful tool. Thanks, and see you.